Hello, everyone. Cheryl Arkle. What are you reading? I'm here with Lauren Chater.
Hello.
The lovely Lauren Chater. Now, I know a lot of people at home know Lauren, love Lauren. What was the book that you think put you on the map?
Well, I think it probably was The Lace Weaver, which was my first novel.
Right.
But I also think that people were very into my second novel, Gulliver's Wife. I think, everybody wanted to know the his wife's side of the story, and it's about Gulliver's travels and when he comes home and his poor wife who's been left behind, is he mad or did he actually see all the things that he claims to have seen? And so she thinks that he's dead. He comes back into her life and turns everything upside down. So this book came out during the pandemic. So I think it was a lot of people were at home reading. So it's probably my best-selling book, I would say.
Oh, there you go. And it made the top 100.
And it made the top 100.
Yes, because we've just released the top 100 for 2024 as well. Now, for those that have just joined you, Cheryl Arkle, what are you reading? And I'm here with the lovely Lauren Chater, author of Gulliver's Wife. She's written a new book. What's your new book?
I have written a new book, and it's just come out, and it's called The Beauties. Here it is.
I'm going to hold it for
it
you.
in the middle. And it's the story of the creation of a series of 17th century portraits and the models that sat for them, who were like the Victoria's Secret models of the 17th century. So it's all about court intrigue and beauty and women using their beauty as kind of a weapon, but also how it traps us into these roles that we have to play and these expectations that are put on us. And it's also about the commissioning of the series, which was done by a woman, which was very unheard of at the time. So that's what my new book is about.
There you go. So this is Lauren's fourth book. If you've read any of Lauren's book, let us know. Let us know in comment. So Cheryl Arkle, Lauren Chater, we're here for What Are You Reading? Now, you know how it works. You tell us what you're reading at home and we'll tell you what we're reading here. Okay, we'll come back to you because I want to talk about research.
Okay.
And I want to talk about the book you're currently reading. But firstly, I'm going to start with Rachel Treasure. Do you know Rachel? Milking Time. She writes, I think Rachel was one of the first in her genre many years ago writing rural romance. And now I think Rachel lives on a farm and practices environmental farming, I think. I'm sure I haven't said it as it should be said, but you know what I mean. We love Rachel, and this is her new book, and it's called Milking Time. It's uplifting, it's funny, and it's about going through life, family, friends, and of course, community. Isn't that a beautiful cover as well? So that's Rachel Treasure. Okay, now I'm going to say hello to everybody because they come on here, as you can see, Lauren.
Hi.
I know all the comments. Tracy says she's reading Heartless by Elsie Silver. Carolyn, hi Carolyn, she's a regular and we love Carolyn. She reads so many books a year. She says hi to both of us. What a day of sadness and excitement. Truly sad that Jane is leaving, but so happy that a new chapter is opening. May it be everything Jane hopes for. Well, that's so lovely. Segue, Carolyn. I was going to talk about Jane leaving. Thank you for bringing it up. You must have been on Facebook. So the lovely Jane Tara, who I know you all love, know and love, I love, we all love her here, is leaving us, and she's going on. She's written a book. Tilda is Visible, and she's going on to do bigger and better things. Yeah. Sally says hi to us, and she's reading The Library of Heartbeats. Judy says I'm reading Retribution by Sarah Barry. Carolyn finally got to read Tilda is Visible by Jane Tara. Such a good book that has strong and important messages for women whilst being a really enjoyable read. Highly recommend. Well, I hope Jane is on Facebook Live and that she reads that. And if she doesn't, I'm gonna tell her that you've written that. Jane Harvey says she's just finished The Beach House by Jenny Hale, and it's a great read. Sue Kramer says, so sad to hear Jane is leaving, wishing her all the best. Absolutely. Jill said she loved Gulliver's Wife and will look out for her new one.
Thank you.
So that's Gulliver's Wife that was out a few years ago, made the top 100. And this is Lauren's brand new book, and it's called The Beauties by Lauren Chater. Okay, talk to me about research.
Yeah.
And talk to me about why you're reading a book on witches.
Yeah. So the research for The Beauties was I was lucky enough to go to Hampton Court, where the portraits hanging now of these beautiful women. I was lucky enough to get there right before lockdown, so I went in 2019 and visited them in the gallery, where all these women who would never have been in the same room together are now staring at each other for eternity. And I felt very much like the gallery was kind of haunted by their presence. You know, everywhere you go, their eyes are following you. It was very inspiring. So I love being able to go to the places that that I'm writing about. And I just got back last year from a trip to Scotland to research my next novel, which is called Rue, R-U-E, as in sorrow, regret, but also the plant. And it's about the Macbeth witches. So it's about the story about how they grow up and the three sisters and how they end up on that heath with Macbeth.
And is that why you're reading that book?
Yes, that's why I'm reading this book, and it's called The Cat bookmark is not part of it. It's called The Manningtree Witches, and it's by A.K. Blakemore. And it's the story of this young girl called Rebecca West, and she's living in England in 1643 and she's living with her mother, who is single, you know, unmarried, terrible at the time, a terrible thing to be, but is and a very outspoken, an outspoken woman, and is eventually accused of witchcraft along with a whole lot of other women in the village. And they are persecuted by a man called Matthew Hopkins. I don't know if you know Matthew Hopkins, but he was the witchfinder general in England at the time. Terrifying man, and did a lot of damage to women at that time. So that's what I'm reading about at the moment.
I want to talk about your bookmark.
It's from Scotland.
It's from Scotland.
I know, it's so cute.
It's not even paper, it's plastic, I think. It's like a
it's
placemat.
It's leather.
Oh, it's leather.
Yeah.
There you go. Tell me, do you always use a bookmark?
I try to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're not the turn the pages down person. Sometimes. Tell me what you are at home. Do you use a bookmark, and what is it? I use bookmarks. I never turn a corner down, but I use receipts, or I use business cards, or, you know, I do use bookmarks as well, but probably not traditional. It's something as bookmarky as this is. All right, tell me what you do at home in terms of bookmarks. Oh, Julietta Henderson. Do you know Julietta, the author? She's with us. She often joins us on a Thursday at 2:00. And she says hello to both of us. And she's reading the same as everyone else in the world at the moment. You Are Here by David Nichols. Believe the Hype. It's fabulous. Cool. Kaz says I'm reading Milking Time by Rachel Treasure. Oh, we love a segue. Here it is. There you go. Thank you, Kaz. We love that. Tracy, Thursdays won't be the same without Jane. They won't. She will be so sadly missed. And Jane Harvey says that Jane will be sadly missed. Julie, hi Julie. Lovely to see you both. I'm reading Betty by Tiffany McDaniel. Gosh, such beautiful writing. Lisa King. Lisa says hi to both of us, and she's currently trying to read as many of the authors at the Brisbane Writers Festival this week. Emergency Exit Only by Michelle Upton is what she's reading. Great. It should be a great festival as well. Melissa says hi to us. She's read The Winter Dress. Do you want to hold that up?
Yes.
Thank you for the segue.
Thank you.
And she's now reading The Tea Ladies by Amanda Hampson, loving the quirky characters. Yeah. Meryl said she's reading Bookshop Dogs by Ruth Shaw. Faye, good luck to Jane. I'm finally reading Lola in the Mirror. Oh, you will love that. Now, Lola in the Mirror, a little bit of a segue. I'm dropping things. Sorry, Dex. Top 100. It's great being on the Better Reading Top 100, isn't it, Lauren?
Yes.
And number 1 this year was Lola in the Mirror by Trent Dalton, which is fantastic. Number 2 was Honeybee by Craig Silvey. Number 3, Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. Bonnie is going to be at the Sydney Writers Festival next week. She's in Australia, so that's good. Number 4, another Trent Dalton. So that doesn't happen that often. An author appearing twice in the top 5. Wow. Crazy. So Boy Swallows Universe by Trent Dalton and Marcus Zusak, The Book Thief. Now, I think we've had the top 100 for 8 or 9 years now, and Marcus Zusak has been in the top 100 since day one. Incredible. So many people have read that book. Okay, Anna Downs is what I'm going to talk about. We love Anna. This book is called Red River Road. She writes a really good crime novel. It's nerve-shredding outback thriller, and it's set in Western Australia in a small rural town. And there it is. It's very different cover for Anna, but I love it. It says a lot about what the story is about, of course. Okay, what else have you got? Have you got another one of your books there? What have we got?
Yes. I know
Yes.
I've got The Winter Dress. which
You've
we
got.
were
Do you want to
talking
talk about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this book was inspired by a real dress, a 17th century dress that some Dutch divers found off the coast of Holland. They were diving illegally in a shipwreck and pulled up this amazing sort of gown. They didn't know what it was, and then they unrolled it, hosed all the mud off, which horrified conservators everywhere, and hung it up in their clubhouse, and then discovered that it was this amazing treasure, this 17th century treasure. So my story is about the discovery of the dress. It's got a contemporary storyline, and then a 17th century storyline about the woman who might have worn the dress.
Yeah, wow. Now, you probably want to know more about Lauren and how she writes and how she researches her wonderful novels, and how she separates really work from like what's in her imagination to her everyday life. We just recorded a podcast. So if you want to have a listen to Lauren chatting about that, Lauren and I in conversation, that's going to be out shortly. Okay, what have we got? Diane is reading Shake Some Action by Stuart Kurd. Ross, hi Ross. Ross is currently reading Red Trader by Owen Matthews. It has the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962 as a backdrop. Julie says, Jane, you will be missed so much. I love seeing yours and Cheryl's faces on Thursday afternoon. I really hope you visit sometime. I think she will definitely be visiting sometime. So you will see a little bit of Jane. Sue says, I'm reading Sanctuary by Gary Disher. It is a great, easy read. Actually, that's a good segue because I recorded a podcast with Gary a couple of weeks ago. We had such a great chat. He's really... Have you ever met Gary Disher? He's very reserved. He's very quietly spoken. He's a lecturer and an author, but, really writes... Oh, here we go. Really writes a great crime thriller, and that's it. And this is Sanctuary, his latest book. And look out for the podcast. I think the podcast is out now. Okay, what else have we got? Oh, we talked about Anna Downs. This is her the book before, the one we just talked about. It's before the Red River Road, and that was called The Shadow House. What else have we got here? Oh, this is beautiful and a little bit of a segue for Lisa Island. Such a beautiful jacket. It's glamorous and it's a nostalgic journey into the golden age of Hollywood. So isn't that just so beautiful and glamorous? So that's out by Lisa Island. What else have we got? Oh, Amor Towles. I'm really, I haven't started reading this, but I'm very, very excited to, because it's short stories, which I love. I've got to love short. I'm very much a short story person, and it's based in New York City. But there's also a novella in it called The Golden Age Hollywood. He's a great writer. He writes with humour and great sophistication, and that's Amor Towles. What are you guys? Are you using a bookmark or are you turning over the pages? What have people told us? Here we go. Janine says, hello to both of us, and she loved Gulliver's Wife and looking forward to The Beauties. Currently reading After You're Gone by Vicky Wakefield. Jane Harvey says, always a bookmark. Thank you, Jane. Diane says, sometimes bookmarks or cheekily have turned the corner. Okay, Diane, and great to admit that, I think. Great to admit it to this group. Carol says hi to us and is reading Julie Goodwin, Your Time Starts Now. I knew her from her cooking show and I'm enjoying her memoir. Hasn't she had a great life, Julie? Hardworking person. Kaz uses a bookmark. Yvonne says A Life of Her Own by Ellen Feldman is what she's reading. Tracy, I mostly use a bookmark, but I've been known to turn a doggy page. Look, I will put up with a turn of a doggy. Sometimes you just can't find your bookmark and you've got to get up and answer the door or whatever. I mean, in that case, sometimes I'll just flip it over. But it does happen. It does happen when you sometimes have to do that, so we can be forgiven. But I've been known to put a sock or whatever it is that's nearby. Yeah. Have you done that? Yeah. Okay, what do we got here? Tracy, Sue uses receipts, so do I, but received a lovely bookmark for Mother's Day. Oh, okay, good. Yvonne, the slip the library puts in. That's really wise. Denise uses a proper bookmark. Good on you, Denise. And do you always find your proper bookmark though? Do you really always find
I
it?
have a million.
You have a million. Susan, always bookmarks, never turn the corner. It disrespects the book. Good, yeah,
Very
good
true,
take.
very proper.
David Hart. Now, David is a friend of mine. He lives in San Francisco.
Oh, nice.
So thank you, David, for joining us from San Francisco. He's also in a book club
Cool.
and just started on a better reading pick called Sanctuary by Gary Disher. There you go. We were just talking about that. There's a podcast out too, David, so have a listen. I really love chatting with Gary. It was a good conversation. Thanks, David. Hope all is well over there. And I miss being there, actually. Do you know, it's really funny. I live there for a couple of months of the year. And when I'm over there, I miss Sydney. And then when I come back home, then I miss there.
That's the best, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It makes you appreciate what you've got.
That's exactly right. Okay, all right. What else have we got? Julie is reading Hannah Kent's Burial Rites. Yes, and that's a few years old now.
Yep.
Often on this segment, we talk about a book is new until you've read it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's good because then you get to read all the back catalogue as well.
Yeah.
To go back and read
Hey, listen, when you're working in a library, were you a little bit judgmental about what people borrowed?
yeah, a little bit. But
Yeah.
Never say that.
No, no. Do you know, because I worked in a library for many years. I
Yep.
worked at Marrickville Public Library.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
a great library.
It's such a good
Beautiful
library.
Now refurbishment. Oh,
Gorgeous.
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 Stay there all day.
And I used to have a view about what everybody was reading. And then prior to that, I worked in a supermarket as a checkout chick back in the days where you're typing in numbers and what the price were. And I used to judge people by the food contents in their cart. And I always thought that was mean. But now when I look back on it, it was really just making up story. It wasn't really judging.
Yeah.
You know, it was like you see a collection of groceries or you see a collection of books, and that makes you form an opinion about that person.
Yeah, exactly.
So I start thinking about the person and what they're doing when they're going to go home.
That's right.
Is that what happens in an author's mind?
Yes, exactly. And also, sometimes you see people borrowing the same types of books, and you think, "I wish I could introduce them, like match them, matchmaker."
Yes.
Because this person would be really good friends with this person because they both like the same books, but you can't do that.
You can't do that.
It's against the rules.
That would be a good way. Wouldn't that be great?
I know. I once thought about that. That would be very romantic.
Yes,
very
it would be.
A meet cute.
Yeah, I quite like that. Do you know, I don't know if I've got this talent anymore, but I had it because many years I worked in a bookstore on the shop floor. Like I'm saying a long time, like 20 years or something. Yeah. And I used to have this thing where if you came in, and I probably could still do it, and you told me what the last book you read was, I can tell you what you're going to read next.
No way.
Yes,
like
I
some
can.
kind of prophecy.
No, it was based on knowledge.
No, it was divination. We talked about this in the podcast.
Well, let's say
we don't believe it.
Let's say that somebody came in and said, "I've read all the Lauren Chaders," right? Because you know how you do that.
Yeah.
You start one book and you get hooked, and I'm sure you do this at home. And you think, "Oh, what will I read next?" Well, that's easy. Yeah. Who would you recommend?
Who would I recommend? Oh
yes.
my gosh.
So I've liked this. I've liked this
genre.
Recommend? Well, I would recommend some of those historical fiction writers we talked about in the podcast. Who you read?
Like Kent or.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. There's what's her name? The historical Belinda Alexandra.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there is so many like books. So you could probably do that too if you worked in a bookshop. Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, let me know if your bookshop does that service for you. All right. Kaz says we will miss Jane Smiley Face, and I love listening to her book reviews. I know she's fantastic. Don't worry, she will drop in every now and then. She's still going to go to the gym. I'm not going to say where it is because I don't want people stalking her. But anyway, she's going to be local. Susan is reading The Other Bridget by Rachel John. We love Rachel John. So, okay. So let's say that you said that you loved reading Rachel Treasure. I would say maybe you might like reading Rachel Johns. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Are you getting the hang of that? You are. You are. You're getting the hang of that at home. All right. Let's talk about The Lost Letters of Rose Carey. Isn't that a beautiful cover? by Julie Bennett. So she's part of your suite, isn't she?
Yes, she
Same.
is.
Do you know
She's a
her?
friend. Yeah, she's lovely.
Oh, isn't that lovely? Do you want to
Yeah.
talk about this book?
Yes, well, I've just bought it, so I haven't read it yet. But it's gorgeous, gorgeous cover. It's a mystery story, as far as I know. Inspired by the life of the 1920s mermaid, Annette Kellerman. And so there was an amazing launch last night, which unfortunately I couldn't get to because I was working at Better Ed, and it showed her movies. It was set at the Dendy, I think,
Oh,
in
right.
Newtown, which would have been
Do you
amazing.
know? There you go. And do you know where I swim?
Where do you swim?
At the Annette Kellerman pool.
No way.
Yes, there you go.
It's like
Yeah,
Australia's,
yes.
Esther Williams.
Yes, yeah. I swim at Annette Kellerman in winter sometimes because the other pool I swim in is the Fanny Durack pool, and that closes in winter.
Oh.
There you go. There you go. Well, yeah. Victoria Perman, I just love her. Look at this.
She's lovely.
Isn't that a great? Do you know her?
Yeah, I know.
It's called The Radio Hour.
Gorgeous cover.
Isn't it
So
gorgeous?
cool.
Now, this is charming, it's funny, and it's the golden age of radio in post-war Australia. The lovely Victoria is going to be doing our author live, which is next Wednesday at 8 p.m. What's the date of that? Yeah, so she's got the 22nd of May, 8 p.m. Wednesday. You've done one of these? You did it with You did it with the first
I
book.
remember.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
yeah. Right. So there you go. So so if you want to chat with Victoria, join us next Wednesday, 8 p.m. You know what to do. Okay, all right, let's get through a few more comments. Michelle says hi to us. Lucky enough to be reading an art copy of The Haters by Robin Harding. Thanks to Better Reading. Can't put it down. Such an excellent story. Thank you. So, we've got that preview program, which is so popular. All you need to do is be signed up to our weekly EDM. And they come up every single week, and it's random, and you put your name down for it. And we've got a generator that picks out that, we often have 50 to 100 books to give away, Lauren, for reading.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. But 600 or 700 people apply for each one.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of
Such good
patient
readers,
people.
gosh.
Yeah, they're great readers.
So good.
Yeah. Now, listen, I also want to talk to everybody. I'm going to be at Words on the Waves. That's May 24th to June 3rd. I can't remember what day I'm going to be on, but I will be there. So we're going to put a link up.
I'll be there too.
Oh, you'll be there
on
too.
the
Okay.
2nd.
Oh,
Nice
there you
to
go. Tell me about your session.
Oh, my session is called Beauty and the Beast, I think, or Beauty and the Beast, and Kate
So you're the
Forsyth will
beauty?
be. We're all the beauties. Kate Forsyth will be there as well, and
Yes.
Liz Ashley, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you
and
are all
Susan-
beauties.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
our books are definitely beautiful.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about mythology and
Yes. Okay. Well, that's Words on the Waves, and that's in your minor.
Yes.
Which is, if you're in Sydney, it's about an hour and a half north, and that runs from May 29th to June the 3rd. Okay, all right. We're both going to be there. I can't remember what I'm doing, but it's going to be something wonderful. It really is. Okay, Kaz Lee loved it, so she might be talking about one of your books. Joy says she's just finished Sister Viv by Grantley Kaiser. Incredible story about Sister Vivian Bullwinkle and the massacre of nurses on Bank Island in 1942. He's a great non-fiction writer. So well written, and it honours a wonderful woman. I had the privilege of meeting her when I was doing something at Queen Victoria Hospital many years ago. Beautiful lady. Oh, that's a really interesting story, Joy. Thanks for sharing that with us. Carolyn says she always uses bookmarks, mainly a proper bookmark. And she often, she could grab a tissue, a clean one, of course, or a receipt. She also sends a nice bookmarking Christmas cards to many friends. Oh, isn't that lovely, Carolyn? That's such a nice thought. Paula says, I'm reading Phosphorescence by Julia Baird and The Shadow House by Anna Downs. Let's put that up again. Where is it? Oh, here it is. There you go. So Jill says, or Jackie says, she's reading The Cryptic Clue and loves the Tea Lady Mysteries. Jill always uses a bookmark. I guess they're the group. Hi, Joy Bell. She has visitors, Joy Bell from Scotland, so she's not reading much at the moment. Okay, all right. There's so many messages to go, but I think we're out of time. We've got to let Lauren get
Do you want to know a
home.
horror story about bookmarks just before we go,
Yes.
and libraries? When I used to work there, I don't know if this happened to you. Sometimes we would get books come back with toilet paper bookmarks.
Oh,
cringe. Anyway,
cringe.
sorry, just
Yeah,
had
yeah.
to put
Okay,
that in.
that's
To
not
note, to end-
good.
to-
I don't remember that
just
happening, but
note to end
that's
on.
yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, just don't do that. Anyway, wonderful to have Lauren here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much for coming in. Thank you to everyone at home. I mean, I just love this segment so much. Don't you love it? It's just, a bunch of readers all getting together, having a chat. See you
So nice.
next time.